Hello, it's Karen Burniston here with a use and care video for our fine tip bottles, and you can purchase these as well as our favorite glue and check out all of our die designs at karenburniston.com. So when you purchase a fine tip bottle, it will come empty, and it does have a paper label on the front. Not going to lie to you, the adhesive on that paper label tends to come up on the sides, and my favorite thing to do if you want to keep that label is to go ahead and put some clear packing tape over it. And what I do is start with a piece that's a little bit longer than I need. I want to start on one side, press it down, go across the front, and since I've only touched it in this one location, then what I can do is just take a pair of scissors and snip off the part that basically has my fingerprints on it and then press it down. So now I have a waterproof label. I'll be able to put that bottle in the sink when I need to unclog it. Now as you use your bottle, you'll want to hold the blue part while you unscrew the white cap so that only the white cap comes off, and that's what separates the two needles. That cap needle is what goes into the bottle needle to keep it from clogging. So you just guide it right into that needle by just using your middle finger. I find that's the easiest. It's an easy mistake to accidentally unscrew at the blue area. So the white and the blue come off. The bottle still works. It can dispense glue. But look what happens now when I go to try and recap it. I cannot see where my needle is, and that is how you bend it. So I definitely say you have to keep that blue part on the bottle. If you accidentally took them both off, no big deal. Just unscrew the blue cap, put it right back on the bottle. Actually, before I put my blue cap on, let me just check the connection of my yellow needle cap. So that should be screwed on tight when you first get a bottle. It does remove. You can unscrew it with your fingers and take it off for unclogging, but then you'll want to make sure that it's nice and tight so that the glue cannot squish out around that little yellow needle cap. And those are the elements of the fine tip bottle. My very favorite glue for these bottles is Lineco Neutral pH adhesive. Now I have a little bit larger bottle here for the video, but what we sell on the website is a smaller 4-ounce bottle. But this is what I wanted to point out. Avoid freezing. If your glue seems thick, it's probably just gotten very cold at some point, either when it was shipped to you if you live in a cold climate, or what happens to me is I sometimes fly with my glue. And in the belly of the airplane, it does tend to get very cold. So what happens when your glue gets thick is you're trying to squeeze it out the tip, it can't get through the needle, it starts coming out all sorts of other areas in your bottle, and it leaks and it causes you great distress. Okay, so I'm going to fix up this bottle today. So first off, it's been sitting around for a while here, all clogged up just in a Ziploc bag. So I got to be careful when I take the needle out. I'm actually surprised it came out that easy. Sometimes they're very stuck. And I'm even more surprised that I can get any glue through this tip. But I am having to squeeze pretty hard. And when I squeeze hard, that glue is going to start coming out other areas because the tip just needs to be cleaned out. Now the best thing to be able to unclog these bottles is when you can fill the bottle itself with warm water. Now that means that you have to transfer your glue out of this bottle, or maybe in the past you've messed up a bottle, or you could find one at the dollar store that has the right size top. I have one that's just empty and I keep that actually in the cabinet below my sink. However, for today's video, this particular glue bottle, that glue has gone in that belly of the airplane at least 2 or 3 times. It's traveled with me all year. You know, it's probably pretty thick and I'm okay with just losing that little bit of glue that's still in that bottle. And that will just allow me to actually put the whole bottle under the sink and try and scrape off all of the dried glue and really fix it up. Okay, so I finished up with my bottle. I've got warm water in it. Now with the tip, if I fill that with water, you can see out on the end, like one drop trying to come through it. But it is very clogged, and when I put that on my bottle, I should be able to just shoot water right out of it if that needle tip were unclogged. But you can see I'm having to press really hard. I'm just getting like a single bead of watery glue because there's glue, of course, all up in the tip. So you can see that that's way too hard that I have to push. And when I have to press that hard just to get water through the bottle, then it's definitely not going to work with glue. Okay, so let me take this cap apart then into its individual pieces. So I'll take the blue cap off, set that aside. Then I'm going to unscrew the yellow needle cap. Now the white one, that one sometimes does get a little glue goober down in there, so you want to just make sure that's opened up. If you need to, you can just use a regular old toothpick, and you can kind of dig in there and make sure that you don't have any glue goobers. So the water should just pour right through it. And also make sure that you don't have any dried glue caked in the threads on the inside or on the outside. So just go in there and just make sure it's clean. The blue cap is just about checking the threads and make sure those are clear of any dried glue. But of course, where the real problem lies is usually in the yellow needle cap. So probably there's some glue maybe caking inside the needle itself, and especially right here in the yellow portion, there could be actually a little plug of glue that could be causing you problems. So I go back to the cap again and get the needles put together, and then I can use the cap to kind of push the needle up and into the yellow portion, and what it'll do is it'll push out any little plugs of glue. So with those two pieces actually together, I like to run warm water into that little yellow cap, just plunge out the inside of the needle, make sure that it's all clear. Okay, now comes the moment of truth. Let's put everything back together again. So the yellow cap goes on the white one, and I screw that until it's tight. Then I'm going to put the blue cap over the top of the needle and screw that onto the white cap. And let me just test the cap itself. Remember, before it was barely dripping, and now it's got a steady drip of water coming out the bottom, so that's wonderful. And then final little test, let me just make sure that water will come right through that needle. So remember before, when I used it with water, I had to squeeze super hard to get one bead of gluey water, and look what happens now. A little squeeze and the water will come shooting out. And that's all there is to it. It is now unclogged and ready for glue. If I've used my actual glue bottle, I'll need to, of course, remove the water, maybe let it dry for a bit before I put glue in it. Or if I've used a separate bottle, then I could just put my unclogged cap right onto my glue bottle again and start using it. Now look at the difference, just a light squeeze and that glue is just going to come right through that needle tip. So you should not have to squeeze too hard to get glue through that needle tip. If you're squeezing really hard, it's either because your needle tip needs to be unclogged or that your glue has gotten thick and then it just needs to be a little watered down. So hopefully that will help you get more success and use out of your fine tip bottle. You can find them at KarenBurniston.com. Thanks for watching. If you click on the website link, you'll go to KarenBurniston.com where you can find out information about purchasing these dies as well as links to all my other social media accounts. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out some of my other videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.